All right, so here's the scenario. I've got this credenza thing here that has a lamp on it, but there's no outlet over here. This is where we want to put it. So I want to put an outlet there. Now, the question is, how can I get power to that? On this side is my very messy office, and there is an outlet on this wall. Okay, this was a bedroom at one point, now it's my office. So I measured, and from the wall, it is 51 inches from the wall, and 18 inches to the top of the box, or top of the outlet. Now, the only thing I need to do is figure out which side is the stud, because outlet boxes are always attached to a stud in new construction. So if the stud is here, I can put the outlet on this side. If the stud is here, I can put the outlet on that side. So that's what I need to know. And unfortunately, I got this monstrous wood here, but that I don't really want to mess up. So let me figure that out. That'll be the first thing. Now the first thing I'm going to do is turn off power, and I have them labeled very nicely. I just need to find which one is my office. Office right here, and it's a 20 amp circuit. Now when I looked at the breaker, I could tell it was a 20 amp circuit breaker. Now one of the common questions people ask me is, what wire do I need to use? Well, it all depends on your circuit breaker. Because I have a 20 amp breaker, I have to use 12-2 wire. 12 gauge wire is required for 20 amps. If it was a 15 amp breaker, I could use 14 gauge wire, which is thinner, easier to work with, and cheaper. But I can't, I need to use 12 gauge wire. Okay, just to show you that it's always good to test, even though I know it's the office circuit, it's always good to test to make sure before you take an outlet out. All right, all I did was remove the outlet, which I'm also going to replace with a black one because it's a black wall. But what I have here is these pigtails were connected to the outlet. And you can see this was already the middle of the run, which means there were 2 wires here. And they chose to pigtail it. I don't know why. They didn't have to. They could have put it all on the outlet together. They could have put both screws, you know, one on each one of these screws. But they chose not to, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So what I have to do is figure out where the stud is. So I'm going to kind of stick a screwdriver in and see if I could tell. And you can see this side is hollow, which means that's good. The stud is on this side, so I can go anywhere like wider than this. So I'm probably going to go about, I don't know, maybe 55 inches. Now, what I'm going to be using is an old workbox, and this has these little tabs that will hold it in the wall. Of course, since I've got wood here, I can probably just use screws or something like that. But this is just a generic old workbox, and it holds the wires for you. And you don't have to worry about grounding the box because it's plastic. If it was a metal box, I'd have to ground it. So what I did was I put the outline of exactly where I want this to go. And the old outlet on the other side should be right about here. So I'm just going to start by drilling a little hole. I'm going to go through the wood and through the sheetrock, but I'm not going to go crazy because I don't know if there's any wires in there. Okay. All right, so to make sure that I'm not going to drill into anything in the wall, I have my little endoscope here. And this is an inexpensive one that connects to your phone. And it really works so well. Okay, so the ability to see inside a wall is just like so crazy. You can see if there's any wires. I can see if there's anything else. Look, you can see that box right there. See that box? So it's right next to me. The wires, I believe, go up above it. Here, you know what I could do is I could turn this and go in like this. And there's the stud, and there's the box right next to it. And yeah, this will be really straightforward. And there's the wires, the 2 wires going up the wall. So I don't have to worry about anything else. Now I can go ahead and cut the rest of this out. But I'm telling you, for $32, something like that, this is so worth it to have. Now, you're probably just going to be dealing with drywall, so you could use something like this, which is a keyhole saw, or you could even use just a utility knife through drywall. But because I'm going through this wood, I'm not really going to take the time to use this. So this is the best tool for the job. So it's just going to take a little bit of time and make a lot of dust. There we go, we have a hole. Now, of course, this thing made a little bit of a flub. I went a little bit far, but that's okay. I'll use an oversized plate, and I can always touch up the paint if I have to. But of course, it's a little tight. All right, just make it a little bit bigger, and then I'll be back. Okay, with a little bit of adjustment, you can see the box fits fine. And now I can work on getting the wire from the other outlet, which is right there. Now there are knockouts on the side of that box, and that's what I'm going to try and do. So I have two knockouts on the right side, but they're way in the back, and I couldn't reach them from either side. So I decided to use the knockout on the bottom. That was much easier to get at, and you can see I've already got it started. So I'll just wiggle that back and forth until the slug falls out, and then I'll put a cord relief in there. So I got a length of, I guess, about 3 feet of 12-2 wire, and I put a Romex connector on it. That's what this is, and it's clamped around the wire, so it's nice and tight, and it's got this nut here that I'm going to take the nut and I'll put it in from the other side. So I'm going to feed this in through this hole and up in the bottom of the other box. And that's my plan. All right, I'm ready to close it up at the old outlet. Now this, all I did was take the new wire and I used the empty screw here. And there's nothing wrong with doing this. These are electrically connected as long as this little tab is in place right here. Those are connected together. So I just put the new wire on here. It's as if they were all under that same wire nut. If I put them all under the wire nut, that's probably not big enough of a wire nut. So I just left it alone, used the same pigtail that was there before, and just added my new wires to here. You can do this however you want. You can use the screws, you can put them all under wire nuts, you can use Wago connectors, you can do whatever you want. As long as they are electrically connected and good and tight, you are fine. Just one little bit of advice. 12 gauge wire like this can't be backstabbed, but I would never use the backstab connectors. Those are the little holes in the back here. You can fit 14 gauge wire in there, but I wouldn't do it. I would always use the screws. So other than that, that's it. It's ready to go on this side, and then I just got to put the new outlet on the other side. Old wire boxes are really made for going into drywall, and that's what the wings were not deep enough to actually grab the wall back there. So I drilled some small holes and I used the smallest little wood screws that I could find that are flathead. They should fit nice and low profile. It's the best that it can be for me. Okay, gonna put the breaker back on and let's go test. All right, we're gonna plug in our little tester here, and I get 2 green lights. That indicates that it is wired correctly. It's got a good neutral and a good ground. And this is a tamper-resistant outlet, which is required by code now, so that's a good thing. Plus I have grandchildren, so I want them to be safe. So that's the best thing to use, even though they're a little bit more money. Okay, and we'll just do a test on here. And you can see 2 greens means this is wired correctly as well. So both outlets are ready to go. Now, one of the most common questions I get is, how many outlets can I add to my circuit? And the answer is, there really is no answer to that question. You can put as many convenience outlets as you want. The thing is, adding outlets does not add capacity. It's still a 20 amp circuit, no matter what. But look at it this way. If I was going to put a lamp here, I could move that same lamp to the other side. I'm not using any more power. I'm just adding an outlet for convenience. That's why I call them convenience outlets. Anyway, if you have any questions, you can leave a comment down below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one.
Hey there, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon to be the first to know when new videos are posted. Look for HandyDadTV on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and visit the website HandyDad.tv for more great ideas and information.